This is the pattern for the hymo in the front of the jacket that I'm making. This line here comes up the side of the dart. This is the seam, and it wraps around to the back just a little bit. There are several layers drawn, color-coded on the pattern. The shape in pencil is cut in regular hymo. The shape in green is cut in horsehair or heavy hymo, and the dart that was over here has been rotated here. There's an extra piece in orange of French collar canvas cut on the bias, which may not be necessary depending on the weight of the jacket that you're making. The shape in red is a bias piece of baby flannel or felt. Cut 4 pieces of bias hymo triangles. 2 of them will go in the slits at the shoulder for the hymo layer, and 2 will go in the slits in the shoulder at the horsehair layer. The hymo is cut with no seam allowance on the area that is in the interior of the jacket, 1/2 inch up the front and around the lapel, and 1 inch across the shoulder, 1/2 inch in the arm's eye. Cut a slit in the shoulder 3 inches long. You'll be cutting slits on the other layers as well, but you'll offset them. Make sure to mark the roll line. You also need some strips of organza or lightweight cotton on the bias to make the darts. The next layer of heavy horsehair is marked 1 inch in from the roll line and needs no seam allowance. The slit in the heavy horsehair layer is shorter than the hymo slit and in a different location. The extra piece of French canvas is cut 1 inch beyond the shoulder seam and 1 inch into the arm's eye, but there's no seam allowance on these edges. The baby flannel or felt layer is the layer closest to the body, and it covers the edges of all the other short layers so that it's nice and smooth. Put the bias pieces in the slits at the shoulder. On the hymo piece, make the spread about 1 inch, and on the horsehair piece, about 3/4 of an inch. This is a tailor's ham. Use it to press things on a curve. Press out the insets and the darts. Lay the heavy horsehair layer in place with the straight line about 1 inch from the roll line. If you're doing the French canvas, lay that in place, and the baby flannel over everything, covering the edges. Pin all the layers in place along the straight edge. Put a shoulder pad on the dress form. Lay it over a dress form with the baby flannel side to the body and smooth everything up. You probably have to repin some of those and then add pins in the rest. When you take it off the dress form, it will maintain some of the shape. Pad stitch all the layers together. The stitches are about 1 inch long, 1/2 inch wide, and they go right to the edge on the interior, but they stop within about 1/4 to 1/2 inch from the stitching line. And they run parallel to the roll line. Put it back on the dress form and give it a nice press.